Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. I appreciate you coming back for another episode here on Lawfolds. This is episode number 7, and you'll be watching this episode on Saturday the 21st. It's the 18th. Not so far ahead nowadays. I took a couple of days off from gaming and stuff and just spent some time with my wife and doing some things around the house, some of that important stuff. So, but I've also been a little bit busy off camera, and allow me to explain. So, we are here on Lawfolds. We're in game day number 2, which is representing mid-spring because we're running the Seasons mod, and we are running the Seasons mod based on 3 game days per season, so a 12-day year. Now, you may recall a few episodes ago here on Lawfolds, I had sort of talked about how we would do things as virtual farmers, virtual gamers, in utilizing the Seasons mod when we go to start a map, establish a brand new map, and how that, the map modders, the map developers often give us fields that are in varied states of readiness, already planted. Some of them are ready to harvest, some of them are still growing, etc. And that's what we saw on this map. If you recall, before I even started playing with the Seasons mod on this map, we had 2 fields that were, let me just bring up the map here where I can speak somewhat educated. We had 2 fields, 27 and 26, which were not planted at all. They needed to be plowed and cultivated and fertilized and planted and all that business. And then we had, I think, field number 32, or I'm sorry, field number 31 was ready to go. Maybe 1 or 2 of these down here were as well. So again, a bit busy offline because I went ahead and decided that based on some of the little problems that I'd been having with the Seasons mod and some other challenges, and since we weren't really that far along, we had harvested this field here and had replanted a couple of fields, but I was pretty sure that we were going to lose this field due to frost because I'd planted that on the first day, that I went ahead and decided to just reset the map back to square one. So I basically created a new game save, reinstalled the mods that I wanted to use. I did copy over the vehicle XML file, which basically prevented me from having to repurchase all the vehicles that I wanted to use and stuff in the game. And then I used a little feature here in the Seasons mod, which is right here, which is reset growth. And so what that basically did for me, and what it will do for you once this mod is available for download by everybody, is it basically resets all of the fields, not only the fields that you own, but also your neighboring fields that you don't own. It resets everything back to early growth state. So if you look at our big picture map here, you will see that, some fields, 13, 21, 20, 37, these are in the lightest shade of green, so these are just been planted. These in the little bit darker green, these are on like day 2 growth, etc., etc. So 26 and 27, they have been plowed, and they basically are ready for us to go over and to, yes, once again, reseed those. And we're going to once again reseed at least field number 26 with soybeans. So that's kind of what we did, or what I did, I should say. And just because, again, I want to give the best potential showing that I can for this mod. And so I figured that, well, because those modders are working so hard to basically create such a wonderful mod for all of us to use, and I wanted to be able to showcase it in the best light possible. And I thought, okay, well, how better to do that than to just go ahead and cut to the chase and go ahead and sort of restart the map. And that's what I did. So I'm not going to do that with my other series with Coldborough Park Farm, at least not yet, unless I have to restart that series. And I'm not going to do it with Goldcrest, obviously, as I've already discussed in both of those series. So we're going to go ahead, and for this episode, we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to lower the cedar, and I am going to use GPS. So we're going to go auto width here. This is a 9-meter cedar. I did upgrade the cedar. Yes, I got a really good deal from our dealer, and I went ahead and did that just because, you know, some of these fields, you know, these are not gigantic fields here on this map, but they're basically large enough, and for the most part they're like you know, square enough, and I'll get up here where I can see a little bit better, that I think that it will sort of warrant having the larger cedar. So went with that. This is a cedar slash fertilizer sort of all-in-one job. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And let me just get square with the world here and get the camera back down a little ways here where we can get going. And we'll just lock in our GPS and turn on, lower, and off we go. Alright, so that's really what I've been doing. What have you guys been doing? Hopefully you've been tending to all your virtual farms and everything, and having fun on either Farm Sim 15 or 17, whatever version you happen to be playing. And hope you all are having a wonderful week. And if you guys didn't notice, and I honestly I cannot remember, I'm sorry, I did take a couple of days off and do some stuff around the house, and that sort of meant that I was kind of away from all of my virtual farms, and so not really remembering everything that I've talked about in previous videos and stuff. But I did want to just thank all of the subscribers that helped push our numbers over the 200 mark just recently. We're at about 210 or 211 or something like that, I think. So yeah, just incredible growth, and I do really appreciate everybody that's taking time to, you know, subscribe, and of course leaving comments and asking questions, and just all sorts of two-way conversations going on the channel. I've told you guys all this. This is why I do this stuff. But let me tell you, let me actually read a comment that someone posted. I'm just gonna, you know, I can't do shout outs every single video. I just can't keep up with that, because guys, don't forget, I work about a 50-hour sort of on a light week. It's about 45 to 50 hours a week IT job, and so that does kind of keep me busy, and I have other commitments and stuff. But I do just want to give a shout out to a brand new subscriber, brand new viewer of the channel. He goes by the username on YouTube as DC, as in Delta Charlie. And I'll read you his comment here in just a moment, as soon as I complete this turn. Alright, so DC or Delta Charlie writes, Jerry, I recently found your channel, and I just want to thank you for keeping the videos family-friendly and G-rated. Not only do I have a 3-year-old that likes watching with me, I myself personally don't care for foul language either. I followed others who say they are family-friendly channel, but over time their language deteriorates. I know it's unrealistic to avoid it 100% of the time, but it is refreshing to see someone like you who strives to keep it to a minimum. So thank you, sir. You have another excited new subscriber. I think he said I would have to click read more to actually read more, and that's on another screen. So thank you so much, DC. You know, folks, that is my commitment to each and every single one of you, is to always keep this channel rated G, because again, I know that we have such a varied audience. We have young people, we just have people that, you know, they just don't want to hear that sort of language, and they want to come to a channel and they want to watch farm sim videos, and they want to have some commentary, they want to have some, you know, maybe some educational things, suggestions, tips, whatever, and they don't want to have to put up with some of the other commentary and stuff that tends to go on some channels. Now, of course, I'm not the YouTube police. I am not the farm sim guru that's going to tell everyone how to run their channels. That's none of my business. But this is, I want this channel, Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, to be a safe haven for all of you, that if you are bringing your young children, your old children, your wives, your whatever, I'm not going to be speaking like a sailor, because hey, I don't do that in real life. So another question, Sour Grapes also asked on this same YouTube video. He asked about, let me just do this turn. Oops. That was the wrong button, obviously. There we go. Okay, so Sour Grapes said, just found your channel, doing a fine job with the videos. Keep up the great work. What is the mod you use to see the crop percentage? So the crop percentage, I think he was talking about Farmer's Touch, and that's when you can get out of, you have to basically be standing in the field, and I demonstrated this a couple of times, and I didn't have all of my ducks in a row, I didn't have all my facts, and thankfully a few people corrected me on what my assumptions were, mainly Johnny V, and I appreciate Johnny V for doing that. But that is part of the game extension mod, and the game extension mod is available from Modding Central, and there is obviously, if you go to grizzlybearsims.com, you'll see a link to in my mod list for all the mods that you see here in the games that I play, or at least in Farm Sim 17, since that is primarily the main game that I'm playing, and at least streaming and stuff or recording and stuff right now. Also, Saber writes, great video, Jerry, loving the series. I don't know if you've checked out the quick camera mod, but it may help for quickly changing from forward view using the up arrow to backward view, the down arrow when in external view. Keep up the good work. Saber, no, I've not had the opportunity to check out that mod yet, but I will certainly add that to my to-do list, and certainly give that a look and see if that will definitely help me. Sounds like it might, and although I do try to do as little as possible as far as keyboard controls are concerned, so hopefully I might be able to map a couple of buttons on my Logitech G27, either my wheel or the shifter accessory, to be able to do some of those functions. That might actually work out kind of cool. And just backwards and forwards we go, planting soybeans here in our field number 26. With regards to, I will give you guys a little bit of a tip. If you are playing a map, and at some stage, whenever Seasons mod is released, and you activate Seasons mod at the same time that you start the map, and that's obviously the advisable solution to perform is, you know, it does control the growth of the grass. So basically in day one, spring day one, the grass is relatively short. It can't be cut yet. And that is a fine time to go looking for gold nuggets, if there are gold nuggets on the map. You might remember that a couple of episodes ago, I did find all the gold nuggets on Lawfolds, and well, when I did the map reset, I just wanted to make sure that I went ahead and found those gold nuggets again. And of course it was very easy because they were all in the same field here on Lawfolds. And but in hunting those gold nuggets on day one in spring, the grass was short and it was relatively easy to spot them, and so I just had to run around and collect them all and got the 1 million bucks. So yeah, we did sell the old seeder. That was a 6-meter seeder, and we upgraded to the 9-meter. And of course this is the no-till version, and so obviously probably would have been best to cultivate this field. Obviously in real life you would have cultivated it after plowing, most likely, I would assume, just to knock down the dirt clods and stuff like that and make the surface a little bit more inviting for the seeds and fertilizer. But obviously we took that shortcut just primarily because I think honestly this is probably the 3rd time that we've actually planted this field in this particular series, and hopefully it will be the last time, well, at least the last time for this growth cycle and everything. And hopefully we will be able to harvest this field in sometime in the summer, and obviously reap the benefits and everything of that, and then obviously prep the field back again for something or another. Might try some winter wheat or winter barley, and see how that works out with the seasons mod. Now, one thing that Reefy1952 Mike had given me a tip on today, actually, in one of my videos, he left a comment and suggested, and also sort of reminded me to do hay as far as baling is concerned, because I guess he had heard me comment about the fact that we were probably mainly going to do sheep on this map, and that is something that we're going to do in this game day. Not this episode, probably the next episode, but in this game day we are going to buy our sheep, because obviously we've got the money, and B, we need to get those here in this season, because the sheep with the seasons mod installed, the sheep do not produce wool, only I believe in the spring and summer. So if we want to take advantage of sort of recouping our investment on the sheep, at least as much as we possibly can in this particular game year, then obviously we want to get those guys here on the farm and get them fed, get them watered, and that way off they will go with their wool production. So we're going to buy a fairly substantial number of sheep. I haven't decided what that total number is going to be. We'll just kind of have to see how far we can stretch this $1 million and so dollars out, but we will be getting to that, like I said, most likely the next episode. Now, just as a reminder, again, if you're watching this episode probably on Saturday. I'm recording it just a couple of days before. I did take updates for both the AI vehicle extension mod, that's auto combine, as well as to courseplay. So if you're using either of those mods, there are updates available from the last time that I mentioned it. And courseplay, I believe, had actually been updated quite significantly from the previous version. Now, I was just checking. I pulled up this text here in the center of the screen, and it looks like maybe it looks like maybe this mod is maybe temporarily broken again. I just took the update again today for this particular seasons mod, and normally it shows me what crops can be planted in this next transition if planted now. Normally that has information text in, and it will say, you know, wheat, barley, etc., etc. So hopefully I'm not doing myself injustice by planting soybeans now. I think I'll be all right. I think I do recall seeing that soybeans were okay to be planted. Let me just check one thing here. Alt S brings up this screen here, and let me just seasons introduction, help menu on. Yeah, I think all that is set correctly. So I do recall that it broke once before during an update, and looks like again it's missing again. Now, a question that, and I do please forgive me because I have absolutely forgotten who asked this question, but there was a question perhaps asked in the introduction video that I recorded that I had to modify, that sort of talked about the seasons mod and provided an introduction, how to install it, where to download it. Obviously I had to remove that information at the request of the mod author, but somebody had asked if whether or not the weather that is forecasted would actually remain static. In other words, if, for those of you that may remember using soil mod in FS15, you know, in FS15 we had the weather predictions, we had the weather forecast where we could look and see what the weather was going to be like over the next day or two. And pretty much rain, any sort of moisture, I believe, was would save, and that moisture would stay on the forecast, obviously. But temperatures would often fluctuate, and I mean pretty significantly. I remember, you know, you could go in and basically enter the game, save, and look at the forecast, and if you didn't like it, you could exit the game, save, come back in, and you might get a more favorable forecast, especially with regards to soil moisture and that sort of thing. But if we look at our forecast, and we can pull up our full forecast by doing Alt F, we see that today the high is 16, low of 8, tomorrow 18, low of 9, Friday 19 and 10, 24, 11, etc. I wrote these figures down from a previous from a previous day or a previous game session. Earlier today I was doing a few things and setting some stuff up before the video, and I saved, exited out, shut my PC down. There was a couple of hours went by, and then started it back up again. And those same weather forecast scenarios or situations or whatever we want to call that, that was the same as it was before. So yeah, the seasons mod does lock in the weather forecast, so whatever the weather shows as being forecasted, that doesn't change between your actual gaming session. So that's a good thing. That's actually an improvement, a pretty mega improvement if you ask me, over what we had with FS15. And of course in FarmSim 15 we sort of could I suppose sort of think about it as a real world scenario, because, you know, hey, let's face it, here in Colorado or in Texas where I grew up, weather forecasting is still anyone's guessing game some days. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh, you need to you need to take wear a coat or take an umbrella, and you won't need it. You won't need a coat. You'll sweat or whatever. Or days they say, yeah, it's going to be perfectly sunny and it's going to be mild and everything. Well, at that particular point in time, you know you better take a jacket with you, and you probably better take an umbrella as well, because you're going to need that. But at least here it's a little bit more static, I suppose would be maybe the correct phrase to use, that the weather forecast will hold over time. And of course, I mean, we're playing a 12-day year, so I don't know what weather forecaster other than sort of the Farmer's Almanac that projects out quite that far. But everything is kind of time compressed, and let's just not get too bogged down in all the fine particulars, and just enjoy what we've got. And I tell you, these guys that are developing this Seasons mod, they are I think really onto something. And I hope that, and I don't know if they're still watching my channel or not, but if they are, I do hope, and I also hope that if in fact if the developer, the modder of Soil Mod, if he is if he's potentially contemplating bringing Soil Mod into Farm Sim 17, these minds need to get together. The folks behind Seasons Mod, and I think it's maybe just one individual behind Soil Mod, or maybe it's more than one, but in whatever the case may be, all those minds need to get together on TeamSpeak or Skype or something or another, if they live close enough together at the local pub, maybe some pints or something. But they need to get together and collaborate, because they both have, I mean, of course, we love Courseplay, we love the GPS mod, we love some of those other script type mods, especially those of us that game on the PC. But these are possibly two of the most loved, and obviously the two mods that really put so much realism into the game. And well, they just need to talk to each other, because obviously we want good things for Farm Sim 17, certainly as long as we can have it. So awesome stuff. I do sometimes forget to remove the HUDs and give you guys some different camera angles and stuff. I'm not one to spend a whole lot of time in first person or in cab view, as it might be referred to. Those that do, I take my hat off to them. Reefy 1952, he is. He has said many times on his channel that he really struggles to operate the machinery outside a cab or third person view like this, and he does so much of his video episodes is actually in cab first person. And of course, a lot of times viewers of the channel will often complain a little bit about they can't see enough because it's first person, and obviously that's the view that you have. And of course, those of us that use head tracking can, if we think about it, move our head a little bit and let you guys see some of the views out the back and out the side and all of that stuff. But 17, with the way that the tires shape to the form to the surfaces and everything, it's just so cool to watch this equipment from outside the cab, and try to pay attention as you are driving along, and not forget that you need to make a turn and lift up the seater and whatnot. But yeah, I do sometimes forget that I need to change the camera view every now and again and let you guys see something different other than just staring at the back of the tractor. And likewise, sometimes I forget to just close my mouth and stop talking and let you guys hear the sounds of the environment. You know, the birds chirping, the sounds of the tractor, the sounds of the seeder, the sounds of the fertilizer, whatever the case might be. And I also try to be fairly attentive to the fact that not swinging the camera around so much. You know, if there's one pet peeve that I have about some YouTube channels that I have seen in the past, not any of the necessarily the regulars that I routinely watch, but sometimes I think that they're swinging the camera view around, this view like that, so erratic, like that when you're watching it, especially with HD, and of course I think pretty much everybody is trying their best to record at the highest you know, HD setting and upload to YouTube and all this stuff, that sometimes you can almost get just a little bit, especially if it's kind of like in the morning for me, you can almost get just a little bit seasick, a little bit queasy feeling, and I do try to avoid that, and I guess maybe that's part of my forgetting or failing to move the camera around and everything, is I don't want you guys to get seasick. So we'll jump in the cab and give those of you that like first person view a little bit of a show here. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, the magic clock is telling me that we are approaching our magic hour, magic half hour. It's been about 32 minutes or so on the recorder, and you know, I do try to keep these down around 30, 35, 40 minutes or so. You know, some folks enjoy eating their lunch, watching my farm sim videos, and I so appreciate you guys watching and leaving comments and everything. I do appreciate that, and just want to try to make everyone as happy as I possibly can, while of course keeping myself happy and entertained, because hey, if you know, if I get bored, or if I get to a point to where that, you know, I'm not enjoying myself anymore, then it's going to show in the recordings. It's going to show in my gameplay. It's either going to show because I'm not going to be creating as much content, etc. So again, want to keep things light, keep things simple. So I'm going to just start winding things down here and just say that I appreciate you all for watching. And I will apologize if you've seen me seed this field 3 times. I think I've only actually done it once on camera. I think the other time was off camera, but again, I can't remember. But if I've done it 3 times on camera, I promise that this hopefully will be the last time, at least this season, this crop cycle, and we will get on to other things. I think the next episode we will buy our sheep and get those situated. get them fed. We may actually have to look at the grass situation and see if it warrants cutting grass right now, or this game day, or maybe we would benefit from waiting a game day. And if so, not a problem. I'll buy some hay for the sheep, since the sheep can take both hay or grass. We can feed them either one. So I may buy some hay, and of course we can get water. We've got a water trailer, so we've got that already covered. And I've already got a livestock trailer. Already bought that. That's actually already positioned at the sheep facility. And so I think that's what we'll do next episode number 8. So thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it, and please check out PCSG and the 3 Dudes Gaming Network, where you can interact with me on those 2 communities, as well as a whole lot of other people. And as always, if you have questions, if you have comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section of the videos. I do check those periodically, and I try to acknowledge everyone's comment. It is getting to a point to where some of the videos are getting quite lengthy in comments, and so if for whatever reason, if I don't reply or if I don't respond, I generally will click the little heart button, which is only something that I can do, and that at least acknowledges the fact that I have seen your comment. But I have been trying to do my darndest to make sure that I reply to each and every one of them, and it may just be a few words, thank you for watching, or something like that. But just understand that we've got a lot of things going on, and the channel is starting to take off, which I'm very appreciative of. And hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I will see you all back here on Lawfolds, or on Coleborough Park Farm, or on Goldcrest Valley, as we wrap that series and bring that to a close. So thank you all so much for watching. Please come back again real soon. Bye bye for now.